Hi, everyone. I'm Jody Schwan, the publisher of Sioux Falls Business. Welcome to another edition of Talent Thursday. We really enjoy these conversations in partnership with the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. And we have a company today with a lot going on to highlight. So much we can talk about here. Denise Gazzetta, of course, has organized another great guest and topic for us today. Hi, Denise. Do you want to introduce us to our guest today?
Absolutely. So I am so happy that Mariah Burroughs is here. Mariah participated in our Monday Your Future STEM at Sioux Falls Christian and just has been delightful. We've had several engagements and just such a breath of fresh air and the wonderful timing with the company that is just growing and expanding here in the Sioux Falls region. So the timing is just perfect.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's why, Mariah, that's why you look familiar, because I just saw you at your
Yep.
which is a really cool program. And I think we should talk a little bit about that too. But ISG, if you're not familiar with ISG, guys, you should be, because there's a lot happening. And I know many people watching will still kind of be like, all right, which one are they? What do they do? So Mariah, give us the overview of ISG.
Yeah, so ISG is a multidisciplinary design firm. So engineering, architecture, planning. We have 12 different business units. So work in healthcare, K-12, sports and rec. I could name many more, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. So quite a few though.
But I mean, point being, there are a lot of education paths that can lead a person to ISG. What kind of graduates do you typically attract?
Yeah, so looking for, like I said, engineers and architects. We also have marketing and then HR, like talent engagement. Pretty much looking for anyone with any type of degree. You can get a spot here at ISG.
Denise, as you've become more familiar with ISG, what things have stood out to you about them?
Culture. From the first time that we had the meeting with Dave Doxdale, who is the president, just wonderful. And I love the fact that they are intentionally disrupting what many of us that have worked with design firms know as being sort of that career progression in that pathway. So they really much are very employee centric. And so they're allowing employees to choose those paths and really be successful. And that to me is the best definition of a good culture that you can find.
For sure. I would say, if you are the type of person who gets excited about growth, who likes to learn about businesses that are expanding and new projects, I mean, you are getting in on the ground level here. And what's nice about a firm like this, Mariah, is you have offices regionally, right? And so people get to experience a whole lot of different facets of the business and different communities and things like that, right?
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, no matter what office you're working in, you're collaborating with people in all different areas and you're learning things every single day about different communities and everything like that. So,
and if you are in the Sioux Falls office, well, you already have a cool office because you're in downtown Sioux Falls, and you're going to have a brand new office here in just about a year, I think, or a bit more than that. And you've been involved literally from the ground up on this one. Can you talk a little bit about that signature downtown project you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we're working on, like you said, Sharapa buildings 1, 2, and 3. Eventually, our Sioux Falls office will be in one of those buildings, which is pretty exciting. Allows a lot of room for growth, which is even more exciting because we currently have about 25 people in our current Sioux Falls office, and that is about maxing it out at this point. So we're really excited to expand.
Are you hiring in the meantime? We've got some new grads coming up that I know are looking for roles. What kind of opportunities do you have?
Yeah, we have tons of different roles posted right now. I think we have over 100 jobs posted. Looking for interns, we're looking for fresh graduates, and we're looking for people who have 10 to 20 years of experience. So,
wow, what kind of skill sets? So, if I'm a college student looking for that internship, what might I be studying that's a good fit for an ISG internship?
yeah, I mean, you could be studying civil engineering, and we're hiring interns in that aspect of things. You could be in marketing, and sometimes we're looking for interns in that aspect of things too.
So really, really wide range. The design work I just think is so cool with what ISG creates. So if you are a techie minded person or a design minded person, you feel like this is a place for you.
And I remember walking through the office a few years ago. It was one of my very first meetings when I started here at the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. And to see that just growth just accelerated is wonderful to see that in our community. So we're very fortunate that ISG is here.
I want to talk a little bit about My Future STEM because we all did this week, and businesses, I'm talking to you now, because what a cool opportunity. So the three of us, along with others from the ISG team, as well as the team over at Shears, came together at Sioux Falls Christian in the middle school in the STEM lab, and Denise led them in a very interesting, hands-on, engaging activity. Denise, give a little bit of background on that, and then Mariah, I'll have you weigh in on what that experience was like for you as a business.
So absolutely. So we started Your Future STEM in 2018, and it really is, it's a great love. So I have been either between this role or in a manufacturing role when I was with BASF, really focused in on making sure that we have more people interested in STEM. And so that's science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but really looking for more people to go into the areas of engineering and design, construction, manufacturing, because there's huge deficits. And lots of times people don't realize the kind of good careers that you can have. So we created this program. We successfully launched it. It quickly became probably one of the most popular program amongst the employers, because what we do in 60 to 90 minutes is we take from sharing what we do on a day-to-day basis, then to applying sort of in some project what we do, those practical applications. And then we have a competition, and we have the students practice, their soft skills and their leadership skills. And so it's just a really well-rounded program. And everybody says, when you start talking about some of the things that we're doing, whether it's the concrete that we did this week, people don't realize how exciting it is for people to put their hands and really start playing around with those types of materials and the different chemistries and different reactions, and then how they come together. There's a team and there's a lot of problem solving. So it just was fantastic. And thank you, because Mariah, when we met for coffee weeks ago, she said, I'd love to get us involved in that. We should do that right away. And I'm like, yes, let's go do it. So,
right. Because now all of a sudden there are all of these sixth graders, eighth graders who, had never heard of ISG, who probably didn't know much about engineering and design, who got to have that face-to-face experience with your team. What kind of response did you get to that, Mariah?
Yeah, it was really exciting. I think we started planning this about a month ago. I wasn't really sure what that was going to look like when we were actually in the classroom. At the beginning of the class, asking the students, who's heard about this type of job and who's excited about this. We didn't really get too many hands up. And I even heard one girl say, we're using cement. I have my designer shoes. And then at the end, she was like, I love doing this. This is so exciting. So it was really exciting to see that response from the kids. And then even just after learning about the different jobs that are out there for them, it was a great experience.
So businesses, if you're saying, I want to get in front of young people like this, I need STEM workers too, you need to reach out to Denise G, or send them a message here on Facebook and get signed up, because they are doing this STEM programming, multiple schools, different ages, different areas of STEM. So get involved for sure.
And it's exciting because you can see one of the things we all want is we want passion, and we want our jobs to be rewarding. And so that's why another thing for doing this program, because a lot of times people don't realize the things that they find enjoyable that they could do for work. And so that helps them, and to get that experience at a younger audience where they can still invest in those skills that they need, those competencies in math and science, that's really powerful. And so I think that's how we're going to solve a lot of the issues when we look at, creating more demand for the jobs that we see that are really great, viable jobs, but we just don't have enough people. So.
Right. Mariah, your role is a talent engagement specialist. So you get to work with talent all the time, at all levels, I'm sure, of the career journey. But are there some skills that you're particularly looking for, or are there any bits of advice that you might have, especially to younger talent, looking at how can they be preparing, and what should they be doing to connect with you or to stand out as an applicant?
Yeah, I would say for middle schoolers and high schoolers, put yourself out there to different companies and try to get a job shadow. I would say that's the best experience you can get before you go off to college, if you decide to go that route, and kind of decide if that's something that you want to do in the future. And then as someone who is in college or, so looking at different careers, go out and get an internship, because even for me, I would say that was the best experience that I ever had and really solidified what I wanted to do for my career.
And then as they are coming into the company, I feel like you have a really good pipeline, kind of an opportunity for them to develop professionally and try out different things. What do you keep in mind with that early career talent?
Yeah, we really keep in mind the skills that they can bring to us and the knowledge that they can bring to us, because not only are we instilling these new qualities into them, but they are helping us as well. So just looking at it as we're helping each other out it's been really great.
What keeps you there? What do you like about working at ISG? How would you describe the culture?
Yeah, I really like the growth mindset that everyone has here. I mean, no matter what, everyone is willing to help you in whatever way that they can. For someone who's just kind of starting out in their career, it's the best experience that I could ask for. I mean, I come to work inspired every single day. So it's a family-oriented culture overall, which has just been great.
Yeah, that's a high bar, Denise. But I mean, for someone to say, I come to work and I'm inspired, I mean, that as an employer, that's what you want, right? That's what you want to be delivering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's doable, right? It's just paying attention and maybe being a little bit disruptive, with your industry and the way you do business, to get really that satisfaction and really that love. The thing that I picked up on is she described it as a family. And so I describe my job as I work with my family every day. That is one of the best emotional connections that you can hear reinforced, is that people really feel that bond. And that's really satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Mariah, if people are intrigued, if you want to learn more, maybe take on that internship or look at what job openings you have, how do they connect with you or with ISG?
Yeah, if you head out to isginc.com, you can go out to our careers page. All of our jobs are listed out there, and then there's also an email that you can reach out to. And I check that email inbox every single day, so I would be the one that would get back to you.
Okay, let's fill that up, people. Denise, anything else that you would like to add about these opportunities or anything else that's going on in your world?
Absolutely. So people could go to Work Sioux Falls, which is off of the siouxfalls.com website. They can also learn about employment and internship opportunities. Great information there. If we have employers that want to learn more about the programs and how they can get involved, maybe even some parents that want to get involved in some of the programs, you can then go to the Sioux Falls Development Foundation site and Talent and Workforce page, and then look at some of the things we have to offer there. So.
Perfect. Okay, and just a little teaser. Right before I hopped onto this Facebook Live, I was doing an interview about a project that ISG is designing. So keep watching. We got a lot of news. This is a company that's doing things in so many different industries. It's just always fun to learn what they're up to, because they have a big pipeline of work, and that's why they need more people to help out. So definitely do get connected both to ISG and to Denise, and then help us out if you like what you're seeing. Like and share this video and help us spread the word about the opportunities here in Sioux Falls. Denise G at siouxfalls.com if you want to learn more about everything that they have to offer, whether you are talent or whether you are an employer looking to get connected and find your next talent. And then come back with us. It's Thursday, Talent Thursday, right? We'll be back again next week, as far as I know, with another guest. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye.